Do you have, on your studies of American history, it's fascinating to me that you've done what you've done.
Right.
Do you have a favorite out of all the founding fathers that you like to read about, or thought I kind of like, well, I like them all, but I like Franklin. I just wondered.
Sure. Well, Benjamin Franklin's a really fascinating guy because he's a guy. First of all, there is no such thing as a self-made man or self-made woman. Y'all know that. So even though Franklin is regarded as a self-made man, he, like everybody else, he had help. But he was so, he was so successful financially as a young man, uneducated, worked in the government printing business, that he retired at age 40, which was unheard of, and it really was something that he was, he was kind of showing off a little bit that he was retiring, because as you all well know, he didn't stop by any means. He kept going and going and going, and was super busy, and was esteemed around the world for his scientific discoveries and these kinds of things too. So yeah, Benjamin Franklin's a fascinating guy. I've written the most about Thomas Paine, who's a really complex character. He's kind of a tragic hero in some ways, where his life just kind of unraveled, and sometimes the excesses, just do somebody in. But some of the things that he wrote, especially early on in the American Revolution, are so inspiring, and I think and still play so well today. Even during my announcement speech, I read a section of his American Crisis pamphlet, which he wrote in December of 1776. Now, this is after the Declaration of Independence, and they're in the middle of the Revolutionary War, which they called the War for Independence, because they declared their independence. Now they were fighting to make sure that they kept their independence, and it wasn't going well. They were losing really, really badly, and during this period of the war, George Washington and his troops that didn't have enough supplies, and they were, it's bitter cold in New Jersey, and they don't have gloves. They're way undersupplied, and as the story goes, Paine wrote this pamphlet on the head of a drum, and then they had it published. And Washington, who was the general at the time, made sure that all the officers read it to their troops before they went to battle. And it's the pamphlet. There ended up being 13 of them, but it's the pamphlet that starts with, "These are the times that try men's souls." A lot of you have heard that that phrase. But there's a story in the middle of it, which is also set in New Jersey, that's one of the most profound statements to me of the American dream, of anything I've ever read. And it goes like this: Paine was in a tavern in New Jersey, and there was a tavern keeper there who was a loyalist. He was affectionate toward Britain, and the tavern keeper was holding the hand of a beautiful little 9-year-old girl, his girl, and some folks were in there, and the tavern keeper said to these folks, "Well, give me peace in my day." And Paine wrote in this American Crisis pamphlet that he was infuriated that tavern keeper would say that. He said, because what he should have said was, "If there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace." I'll say that again. "If there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace." And to me, that's the essence of the American Revolution, way back in of the American Dream, way back in 1776. The American Dream is not having a house and 2 cars and these sorts of things. The American Dream, from the origins of our country, is that I will make sacrifices to ensure that my children inherit a better country and a better life. And that's what we see historically with folks who risked everything to come over to the United States to take low-paying jobs and that sort of thing, so their kids can go to college, so their kids can have opportunities. And that's what I think we see again and again, generation to generation. And honestly, that's what motivates me today to be gone from my precious kids and my wife, because it's imperative that young men and young women stand up and say, unless we go on in a different path right now, our kids are going to inherit a country that is weaker than the one that we were born into. And I for one will do everything I can in my power to make sure that doesn't happen.